Can biomom prevent dad from giving the child medication when mom doesn't agree? I am the stepmom to an autistic male 17-year-old diagnosed with ADHD and a learning disability. When he was in second grade, before I was involved, his dad, my now husband, had him started on Concerta for the ADHD because he was struggling and getting into trouble at school. Mom has never been on board 100% with the decision, but she gives him the medication for school only. Dad prefers to give it to him every day. The doctor said either way was fine. Fast forward to the present. Dad and I took my stepson to the doctor and we asked for an increase in the medication. This is the second increase since starting because he was again struggling in school and the behavioral interventions were not working. I work with his teachers and attend his IEP meetings. Mom does not and will not acknowledge her son's disabilities. Dad made the decision without consulting mom, and she was very angry when she found out. And even more angry when she talked to the doctor and found out that I attended the appointment. She is now saying she doesn't want him on any medication at all, and she, quote, doesn't care if he fails, end quote. She canceled his medication check, and now dad wants to message the doctor and get the refills against mom's wishes. Stepson lives primarily with us. Legal decision-making is 50-50. Mom never utilizes her time. She moved 45 minutes away. She typically takes him 2 nights a week, primarily on weekends. This is such a complex question, and it plays out in homes all over America at all different ages. For me, as a mom of 3 kids with ADHD, one of whom's 19, if this child were a different age, then there would be fewer issues. But we've got the following questions. Can mom prevent dad from giving the child medication? Should dad go back to court to get final legal decision-making under these circumstances? What about the fact that this child is 17 years old? Is it appropriate for dad and stepmom to make a decision to increase a medication dosage without including mom in the communication when mom is not as involved in the day-to-day as dad and stepmom are? Okay, so I think that those are all the questions. Let's take them and let's go backwards. Number 1, is it okay for dad and stepmom to make a decision about a medication change without including mom? The answer here is no. That is inappropriate. It is not okay when it comes to joint legal decision making, especially because you knew you were going in to talk to your child's doctor. You knew that he had been experiencing problems at school. So hopefully you and mom were talking about that. Let's say that you guys were talking about that and then you went into the doctor's office to talk about that and the doctor then suggested a medication change. That would be okay. But this says you went in and you asked for a medication change. That's really a violation of mom's rights. I understand why she's angry about that. Next question. Can mom prevent dad from giving the child medication? No. Joint legal decision-making does not allow one parent to prevent another parent from giving them prescribed medication. Is dad possibly in contempt for violating joint legal decision-making? Maybe, but that doesn't mean that mom can tell him that he can't give the child prescribed medication. Should dad go back to get final legal decision-making? If this child were younger, I'd say yes, it's something to consider. But this child is 17 years old. And in my opinion, at 17, this child should be highly involved in these decisions. ADHD medication is tricky. It's not like other medications where you take it and it doesn't really impact the way you feel on a daily basis. People who take ADHD stimulant medication feel real impacts, and most likely those are both good and bad. And your 17-year-old is going to have to navigate this on his own very, very soon. So now is the time for him to start becoming involved in this decision, self-advocating. One of the things that I've done with one of my kids is journal. have him journal and just track data on how he feels on different doses or with and without medication. I'm doing this for a number of reasons. Number one, I want his buy-in. Number two, I want to make accurate decisions. Number three, I want him to start learning how to check in with what's going on with his body, because he's going to have to manage his ADHD long after school. Based on the comments in the Modern Divorce Support Group, stepmom said that the 17-year-old is not capable of making these decisions on his own. He's far too immature, and I believe you. I believe you. Kids with ADHD can be delayed up to 3 years, and so maybe he isn't ready. With my oldest, we had him slow down, and he graduated at 19 instead of 18, and it was a really good thing for him because he wasn't quite ready to be an adult at 18, and he needed the extra year. And maybe your stepson does as well, but one way or the other, your stepson is going to be out on his own, and somehow very, very shortly, he's going to have to learn how to navigate what's happening with him. So these are my opinions as a mom, as a lawyer. Legally, yes, dad could go back, but he shouldn't. It would just be a waste of his money.